Which batter has the biggest difference between averages in wins and defeats in tests? And what's the record for the most consecutive test appearances by a player against the same opposition? I was looking at Rory Burns' test stats, and noticed that his average during wins is surprisingly quite a bit lower than in defeats. Who has the biggest difference between averages in wins and defeats? Asked Rahul Sompura from India. That's a great spot because, as it turns out, England's Rory Burns has the biggest negative difference between his batting average in tests won 25.41 and lost 35.86. Looking at the 394 players who were part of at least 10 wins and 10 defeats, next comes the 19th century Australian Harry Trott, who averaged 16.40 in wins but 25.88 in defeats, a difference of -9.44 to Burns's current -10.45. This is a very wide-ranging list. Next come Mohammad Sami of Pakistan, with 6.11 in wins and 12.87 in defeats, and the Old England wicketkeeper Dick Lilly 13.38 in wins, 20.11 in defeats. The England off-spinner John Emburey averaged 13.88 in wins but 20.26 in losses, while Wasim Raja managed 21.92 when Pakistan won but 28.09 when they lost. Another old Australian deserves a mention. Monty Noble averaged 26.17 in victories, and 36.73 in losses, a difference of -10.56, slightly higher than Burns, but Noble only tasted defeat on 9 occasions in tests, so doesn't quite make our cut-off. The winner in the opposite direction is rather less surprising. Don Bradman averaged a stupendous 130.08 in Australia's wins during his long test career, but a more modest 43.27 in defeats, a difference of 86.81. Next comes the West Indian Frank Worrell, with a difference of 55.74, 74.15 in wins, 18.41 in losses. I think Mark Waugh played 29 successive tests against England without missing one. What's the record for consecutive appearances in one matchup? Asked Rajiv Radhakrishnan from England. This query tested the database skills of Cricinfo's Shivajayaraman, who thought it was the toughest one I'd ever asked him. Luckily, he enjoyed the challenge. And the record turns out to be held by Mark Waugh's longtime captain for Australia. Alan Border played 44 successive tests against England between 1979-80 and 1993. He went past 2 other Australians in Ashes matches. Victor Trumper played 40 in a row between 1899 and 1911-12, and Monty Noble 39 between 1897-98 and 1909. Next come the first non-Ashes combatants. Sunil Gavaskar appeared in 38 successive tests for India against England between 1971 and 1986, while Courtney Walsh played 38 in a row for West Indies against Australia between 1984-85 and 2001. Jaskaran Malhotra of the USA hit 16 sixes but only 4 fours in an OD the other day. Was this some sort of record? Asked Ed Sharma from the United States. That remarkable effort by Jaskaran Malhotra last week, when he hammered 173 not out, the United States' first century in ODIs, against Papua New Guinea in Alameerut, also included 6 sixes in the final over. Only the second instance of 6 sixes in an over in ODIs after Herschel Gibbs did it for South Africa against Netherlands in St. Kitts during the 2007 World Cup. The ratio of 6s to 4s wasn't quite a record, however. For England against Afghanistan during the 2019 World Cup, England's captain Owen Morgan thrashed an OD record 17 sixes, but only 4 fours, in his 148 at Old Trafford. The most sixes in an OD innings without any fours at all is 6, by Paul Collingwood for England against New Zealand in Napier in 2007-08, and Jimmy Neesham, who faced only 13 balls for New Zealand against Sri Lanka in Mount Maunganui in 2018-19. For the list of the most sixes in an OD innings, click here. As a perennial tail end, not outer, myself, I was interested to see that Jimmy Anderson is currently on 99 red inkers in tests. Is this the record? Asked Robert Louis Jones from the UK. It's the record by a distance. Jimmy Anderson is on the verge of becoming the first man to have remained not out in 100 test innings. Only 5 others, all fully paid up members of the No 11s Union, have managed more than 50. Courtney Walsh 61, Mutia Muralidharan 56, Bob Willis 55, Chris Martin 52, and Glenn McGrath 51. The first recognized batsman comes next. Shivnarayan Chanderpaul was unbeaten in 49 innings in tests, during which he made more than 4,000 runs. Alan Border and Steve Waugh both finished not out on 44 occasions. Anderson also leads the way in all international cricket, with 145 not outs in the three formats, but his lead there is much narrower. MS Dhoni had 142 not out innings, Muralidharan 119, and Sean Pollock 113. Mahesh Theekshana took a wicket with his first ball in ODIs. How many people have done this? Asked Jayant Sampath from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's latest mystery spinner, 21-year-old Mahesh Theekshana, dismissed Janneman Malan of South Africa with his first ball in one-day internationals in Colombo last week. His captain, Disun Shanaka, predicted a bright future. It's not easy to read him because he's now got the googly and the carom ball, and his offspin as well. Because he's got several variations, I don't think it'll be easy for any team to read him. Theekshana was the 29th bowler, the third this year, to take a wicket with his first delivery in ODIs, a list which includes a few unexpected names. Please save the trees and nature, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.